hello. Fasten the goggles. Velcro that cape across. We are ready for the quest for epic engagement. My name is, of course, RJ Redden. I am your host. But here's who you need to meet if you haven't already. Lynn Whitbeck. She is petite to queen. She is our sales human, sales without sleaziness. She is the follow-up queen. Oh my god, so many stories, so many things. Please welcome Lynn Whitbeck to the show. Hey Lynn, how are you?
Well, I'm great, and I'm so glad to be here with you. And as we were in our mastermind this morning, your mastermind, so we get to see each other twice today.
We did. It's a special day. Fabulous. Darling, do you want to, for the new folks, for our newbies out there, would you like to describe a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most, fail to connect, capture, and close their ideal clients. So, I help sell with intent for maximum impact, influence, and income. And bottom line, sales, love it, love it, or hate it. You won't survive without it.
Yeah, there's no way to survive in entrepreneurship without sales. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and so many things that we could talk about. And y'all, this is going to be a real laid back session. So buckle in. You and I were talking specifically about follow up this morning, and I've always had trouble with follow up. At one point, and this was a while ago. At one point, I was really having troubles with thinking, "Oh, I don't want to bother people." And then covering that up with, well, if they really wanted me, they'd be at my door already. I just all these reasons slash excuses. Shh. I put in front of follow up, and now I've heard you talk about it so many times, and now it's like I'm looking at my list because I'm looking at my contacts every day, and I'm thinking, who do I need to get back in touch with? And I just feel like I'm leaving it all on the table when I'm not getting in touch. Lynn Whitbeck, help me, make it easy for me.
Well,
Help
first of
me.
all, you're absolutely right. If you want to close more sales, you don't need more leads. That's just a myth. You need to follow up and you need to master follow up. And the thing about follow up is that you had this connection with the person, whether you went in and met with them in person, whether you did a virtual meeting, whether they inquired and you talked with them on the phone about your products or services. So you made that connection, that human to human connection with that other person, and they were interested, right? There was an interest on their part to learn more, to find out more. Now, if you did your job during that initial meeting, that initial consultation, and you wore your detective hat and you asked the right questions for your product or service, your business, and you really tapped into not only what was going on, but you also would then ask, well, tell me more. Help me understand. Or you just go, so that they gave you more information, because often the second answer is actually closer to what's really happening and what's going on. And then you ask them, how does that make you feel?
Hmm.
You got get to the feelings, because we're humans, we're emotional creatures. We purchase on our emotionals. That's an emotional decision. We rationalize it later. Tom Hopkins had this thing, it was, I need it, I want it, I gotta have it, right? And so what you're doing in that first conversation is you are finding out what are those feelings, and you're determining right then, can you help them? And are they a good fit for you?
Yeah.
Because I really want to reinforce this. There are times that I do a no offer. I had that happen recently, and my gut said, something's off. I trust my gut. If you drag someone in or you go with when your gut's telling you, ugh, or just it wasn't that strong, but it was just something's off. And so it was like I did a no offer. So I'm sort of, but the point is that conversation that you have, I'm trying to get back to why you follow up, is that most people are also not ready to make that decision right away. It's really,
There you go.
and
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on, but there you go.
that they're really interested, but they need more information. And I'll clearly attest from the highest mountain. I am a client of RJ's. I love RJ. I worship her. Not only do I use her tool for Draft Ninja, I'm in her mastermind. I'm not a tech person like she is, but where she leads, I follow. But the key is that even in that first time, we'd known each other for quite a while before I said, I want to work with you. and it still requires like another conversation, and it's like to just to sort things out, and there can be something that they need to look into or something that's happening, right? Like, well, I've got this big thing coming up. I actually do. My mom's going to be having surgery. She's 87. I've got to be there, and there's going to be some stuff afterwards. I couldn't schedule something for that time period, right? So there's things that are going on. And the key about follow-up and what you were describing is the number one reason people do not respond is because they're busy. They've got something else happening. And so I'm going to go back to my corporate days, my bad old corporate days. And this was a multi-million-dollar deal. And we had connected, we'd had this great discovery call. They absolutely could use our service, our products and services, sort of an enterprise level thing, right? And he went cold. I mean, I'm talking ice cold. He didn't pick up the phone. He didn't respond to my emails, my voicemails. I sent packages. I had developed a really a 13-step setup for all of my follow-up, and I used different methods, different things. It was always around value, though. What mattered to them? What was in it for them? And so that I could drive engagement and get the callbacks. Well, step 12 of my 13 step was sort of my Hail Mary, which was I would send a lunch invite. Now, once again, back in the bad old corporate days, I would then have to get on a plane and fly to wherever this company was. He accepted the lunch invite. Not a peep out of him other than a yes. Accepted. He didn't respond to my emails or my voicemails, calls about when I was going to be there. But I got on the plane. I trotted into the office, right? And gave my name. And I'm literally negative Nelly screaming in my head. He's not, what the hell are you doing? You just spent company money to fly out here. He trotted on down the stairs. And we had a 2-hour lunch. I moved the cell, and he just told me every day at fires going off, he'd pick up the phone to respond, or he'd start an email, and he couldn't get to it. But that was a turning point. A lot of follow up later, I closed that deal. So the key is that happens with real people. You don't have to be in bad old corporate America. Just right. Normal people have stuff goes on in their life. And they get busy, they get distracted. So follow-up does a couple of things. First of all, it keeps you front of mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And timing is everything. So you're there, you're front of mind. And here's the deal. 80% of the sales happen from the 20% of the people who follow up. What that means is that if you are not following up, you are giving your business away to your competitors. Scary.
It's so scary.
So follow-up is at its core, it's about delivering value that matters to them, not you. And you're following up with people that you know that you can help and serve, and that they were a good fit for you. All right. So it was a win-win. And you found out about their emotions, and you made an emotional connection. One of the things I ask during the call near the end is I'll ask, um, do you believe that I can help you? And if they say yes, then usually that then leads into a conversation about next steps, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it always does. But it is, do they believe after we've gone through these things that I'm going to be able to help them? And I ask that when I believe that I know that and I will say, I believe I can help you. But it's waiting for that response. And then I said, yes, I believe that I can help you. I absolutely agree. And so there's an emotional human to human connection that you've made then.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing the follow-up, yes, you can go back and spend oodles of time thinking with your head about the transcript and what was said. You want to pick up on the big things. So another thing that I'll do is I'll ask what is the most important to them. List the three things that are most important, then what's the most important and why. And so that really hones in on something, and sometimes with sales, people can feel overwhelmed. Small business owners and entrepreneurs, we wear so many hats. Yeah. And when your business you don't have a full-time salesperson, you are the sales. You don't even have someone part-time. You are the salesperson along with everything else, right? And so that's a common thing that I hear. It's overwhelming. They've got so many things that they have to do. So, but when you find out that one big thing and what on that one big, area, you can refer back to that and you're not going to provide the how.
Yeah.
But it's that, that you can help them, get this under control, handled, solved, whatever, pain alleviated, you know, um, you know, from the get-go. We're just going to kick off hard and get this taken care of and get it off your plate.
Yeah.
So, and then going back to the emotion, I believe that we will make great strides, over the next 6 months or a year. And so that's where you do the follow-up. So you've got to have a reason why you're following up. Yeah. And it's because you're a great fit and you can help and serve them. And then sort of leaning into that reason. And sometimes you can just follow up like, I was thinking about you and I'm wanting you to know that I'm wishing you a very happy holiday. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So there are other ways that it's not always about, I'm trying to sell you something, please buy. And in fact, desperation never sells. So, look at what were the big things that matter to them, the emotions, and that that you can truly help and serve them. And then what are some value pieces that you could add where they could add something that you could even give them something that would be like a piece of inspiration for the week. You can mix it up. Don't just phone them or email them or text them or DM them. Actually think about mailing something. And so just have a cadence. And once you have sort of a cadence worked out, and if there are some key things that happen with your clients as to why they hire you, then what are those things? So with the client I'm working with right now, we've really identified 5 areas of why people hire them, the 5 big things. And so now we've developed a follow-up, and then we broke that down into 3. So 3 that they fit together. So what we do is that we have their follow-up sequence, and theirs is really rapid because people make a decision within 72 hours. But the key is that we're capturing that number 1 priority, and then we're adding information, and then we're tying it to the other 5 as we go. So we're delivering value. It's quick and sweet. It's not a novel. Bite-sized videos are great, that you can drop in there that someone can watch on the fly. Remember, a lot of people are doing this on mobile.
Yeah.
And that you still are mixing up your mediums, but you're still tying it to the heart that you really want to help and serve them.
Yeah.
And that's when you put these pieces together and you have, in this case, the scripts and what's going to happen, it's easy to then do it and deviate it on the fly as you need to for particular clients. And you've got this sequence so that you can close the sale. Now, many of us aren't working in a 72-hour window. That's pretty tight. That's like real estate, this isn't real estate, but I work on a longer cadence. So I still use my 13-step cadence, which is over 16 weeks. And sometimes I'll delay the first bit because, they've already told me they're doing something or something's going on. So I don't bother them because I know that. And then I kick the cadence off. So just be mindful of those things. And that's the key.
And it really sounds like, the overarching rule is knowing them well, knowing what they need, knowing knowing and responding to those things rather than having, these are my 78 canned responses that I'm now gonna, send to you one after another. There's no, for me, the follow-up seems almost more customized than the original outreach. What do you think about that?
So, our outreach is one thing. So this is after you've had your strategy. Let's say it's a strategy session, whatever you happen to call it. But the key thing is that you need to have asked a lot of questions to determine that they need your service. Why? What's really going on, and if they're a good fit for you. So you are asking and listening 80% of the time through that whole piece. And when you do that, you can spend 30 minutes with someone and make a connection, a really strong connection, when you are letting them tell you, what's happening, Now, from that, you've got some really good basis of information. Now, I would disagree that I believe that you should have templates. They're not scripts. I hate scripts, but they're essentially, you can script it out like what you're good, but it's a template that you can now pull from, because follow-up, you're busy too. You get interrupted, you get new opportunities. And so you need to be able to grab it on the go, and you're going like we've done before. These are the 5 main reasons or the 3 main reasons someone's going to hire me.
Yeah.
And then how am I going to get them there? And now you never share the how, but it's like that connection that you made, that I'm going to be able to get there. And then you remind them of like the pain. And then you give them a piece of value that can help and serve them. And nothing that's not easily digestible. And when I say that, it's got to be 5 minutes or less to digest. If it's a blog post, it's got to be a really quick read, or it's a really short video. It can be just an inspirational quote.
Yeah.
And I thought of you with this, and I wanted to send it, because you could have a group of those, and that you pick them for the right client, and you've already got it ready. So the thing is that you're still building that rapport and that connection for the decision. The other thing that you can do, which is a key thing about follow-up, is even when you have that first meeting, is book the next meeting. Yeah. So if you're selling nuts and bolts to a big company, what's the next meeting? So we can talk about how we could implement a Kanban system for your business, right? Yeah. Which is, you're pulling it from the shelf and they always have stock or inventory. Anyhow, so the key is that that's a minimal actionable commitment. And sometimes what happens as business owners, entrepreneurs, salespeople, we make it too easy for the clients. Like they can push an easy button. You have to drive them to put some skin in the game.
Yes.
So it happens in a number of ways. Now, I utilize that in the outreach. So one of my core ways I do outreach, I have a masterclass, I have a talk. And when I do that, they don't just get my very, very special lead magnet. They have to, if it's virtual, they have to put their email in the chat. They don't automatically get it. They have to say, I want it.
Yeah.
then they can get it. They can't just click on a QR code, or they don't just automatically get it. No. The next thing is, if they want a session with me, they have to text me that they want a session. So
Yeah.
that they're interested. And then they have to fill out a form. And so the form helps me, first of all, once again, it's requiring them to put some skin in the game. And if somebody drops out, hey, it saves me the time and energy.
Yeah.
If somebody really needs help with their sales, they're going to fill that form out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take them long, but it requires them to put some skin in the game, and it allows me to prepare for the meeting so that I can already come, really fully present and for that meeting. And then I have devised a set of questions. This is another thing that part of the selling is to have your questions. What is it that you need to find out that determines that they need your help, that you can indeed help them, and that they're going to be a good fit for you? 3 things, those 3 things, and if one of them is off, then you no offer, or you refer them to someone else. So, sometimes, certainly for sales, I will encounter people who they have so many challenges with feeling that they're worthy, that they can't get to the point where they can ask for the sale. They need someone else's help first, because they've got to unpack that. Mm-hmm. Because if you truly help and serve people, you deserve the sale.
Yeah.
Right. So there are sometimes I'll encounter people that they need to do some other growth mindset or some work to unpack before they're really ready. They're to really be successful for their business and for their and then of course in their sales. So, because sales is a gift. This is a gift that you give your clients because you are going to help and serve them and create massive impact.
Yeah.
Sales is not some sleazy, slimy notch in your belt. Sales is really about that, how you're making a difference in the world. So when you're there and you can say, yeah, I know that I make a big difference. Like RJ can scream it from the rooftop, I make a hell of a difference. And she does. She knows it. Well, then she's ready to ask for the sale, but she's also ready to do the follow-up. And because people they need time, they get interrupted. And so that's keeping that conversation alive and then driving them to put skin in the game. Anytime you can, get that date set. And, I do that all the time, and I'll set the date and then I'll send an invitation, afterwards. So we already have the next call on our schedule, so we can work out all the details. Yeah. And when you're delivering value and things that matter and reconnecting in that emotional way, you will get the callbacks. You will get the next meetings.
Yeah.
And it may not be immediate because something's going on and it's not you. It's that they're busy. But that's the key thing. And timing might not be right, but then you'll pop up and they'll go, oh yeah, yeah. It's time. It's the right time. Or they'll be talking to someone. Oh, I know who you should talk to. And you get an introduction and they haven't even become a client yet. So that's the reason why follow-up is so vital.
Well, and let me ask you this, because there's no time that is more rife with excuses about follow-up than holiday time. Oh, they're so busy, they're never going to see the email. Oh, they're never going to, like so many excuses. Do you do anything different around the holidays for your follow-up?
Well, a lot of times I do some personal things. So I have this one piece that I do. It's from my family to yours. And I actually snail mail it out. And it's a little tin with recipe cards. of
Nice.
my favorite recipes. And that
Nice.
is and it has nothing to do with sales. There's nothing salesy about it. And so I also have an e-version sort of that. And I have a recipe book that me and my team put together, and it's the same thing. It's my family to yours. We actually have I think we have chef hats on it. I mean, I have these team photos I've done. We've got witches hats, we got chef hats, we got Christmas hats. I don't know. We don't have pilgrim hats. I know that. But anyway, um, but that's another thing that I can send. And, um, you know, you can also do something like that where I've done these in the past where I'll actually send like a single recipe card with a special ingredient, something that they might not necessarily have, like, cardamom seed pods and maybe a little grinder with the recipe. Or you could do, if you want to spring for saffron, whatever it
Whoa,
happens. Yeah.
that one's expensive, baby.
Yeah. So whatever it happens to be, but people wouldn't necessarily have in their pantry. But once again, it's that there's different things, and it has to fit. I love to cook, see, so that's a natural for me. But think about things that are natural for you and work for you. And even if someone isn't interested in the recipes, it's the thought and the thoughtful gesture. And they probably have somebody, a friend, family member that they can pass it off to, right?
Yeah.
Or they can just throw it out, but they still went, wow, because I've gotten those gifts from one of our friends in common, Tom, that they come in. And even if it's something I don't want, I go, well, that's really cool that he sent this.
Yeah.
That's really cool that he sent this. So, it's still perceived as a value.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, just think about how you can put those pieces in motion. And that's part of the follow-up. That questionnaire is I do ask for their address so that I would be able to mail them something. And so as everybody's sort of processing this, follow-up is about, it's just like you follow up with your friends. And it should feel that like a conversation that a chat you're going to have with your friend, because you keep picking up those threads, and there was a bond that was created. And it may not be super tight. It could be a little loose right now, but you're going to tighten those bonds with the follow-up. And you'll find that you're going to close more sales as a result, because the people were interested. They were interested for a reason. They got interrupted, but now the timing's right. And you've been there. You've been delivering value. You've made a difference. That's exactly what that senior executive said to me, is that I just kept delivering value, and it made him even want to do business with me even more.
Yeah.
It helped him make that decision to move forward, with the program, because of the follow-up, because I was demonstrating what it was going to be like to work with me.
Yeah. Somebody gave me that piece of advice actually a long time ago for the podcast, is have the very best welcome, scheduling, follow up, make sure people get their links, and then a follow up even after that, because that gives people gives people that sense of, hey, this is what it's like to work with her. Not that I'm all that organized. I think you know that by now. But my clients tend to love me anyway, so that's pretty good. But no, I love the recipe idea. I love, uh, I did something last week. It was just because I wanted to love on my people, and you never know. You never know. Maybe people hate Thanksgiving. Maybe they love it and don't have anybody to spend the time with. Maybe their families are far away. Maybe they're close, but they don't go there. You never know what situation people are having. And so I just wanted everybody in my online family, I wanted to let them know, you've got a place with me always. And so day after Thanksgiving, I held a Friendsgiving in the Come Right In. And one person wrote me back and said, I am so deeply touched by this. You just don't even know. You don't know what's going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
You don't know when they just might need an outstretched hand for any
Yeah.
reason at all. And that's the kind of, if you hire me to do some work with you, that's the kind of coach I want to be. That's the kind of client I want to be, is that I'm not just working with you. I'm on your team. I'm there. And if you need, if you need somebody to vent to today, I got a bar. It's waiting. It's about, everybody says business is developing relationships. And then, I had a rant about this morning, but I'm going to repeat it for the clients now. The people now, hello, darling community. Anytime you talk about building relationships on one hand, and then you talk about having an animated version of you talk to people and you just switch the names out for personalization. Like anytime you try to put something that is not there, that is pretending that is you, prepare to lose those people. It's
Yeah.
not going to work. Yes, I know it's the press of a button, but the truth is, building relationships with other people isn't easy and it doesn't come cheap.
Yeah.
But if you want your bottom line to increase, there's no other way about that.
No, absolutely. There are a lot of tools sort of out there now, especially, I mean, obviously all the AI stuff that it's the easy button. And it's not a long term. It's not a way to win, friends and influence long term. And it is the relationships that you're building and that you can then keep those threads pulled together. But it is showing up as your true authentic self, which RJ always does in her goggles and her cape. So, but when you show up as your authentic self every time, um, you know, it, people can tell that that's real.
Yeah.
And, if I want animation, I can just watch something on Disney Plus. So,
Yeah. And I'm not against like using like animated characters and stuff like that. I totally use that stuff
yeah.
in my bots. I use it. Some of those characters write my emails occasionally. I mean, I am all about the world of characters and animation. What I'm against is pretending that that's human me when it's not.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just icky. And it's that layer of false.
It's that layer of
It's like, well,
false.
then how am I going to be able to trust you? That it's, I mean, it's just icky.
Well, and conversely as well, and maybe I just used that word in error, but we're just going to move on. When you're putting yourself out there, don't put a skin deep version of yourself out there. Don't do this thing, my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. No, you and I have talked about that a lot. And I would encourage everyone to come and watch all of the 4 episodes that RJ and I did on my show about being your authentic self. And that is so critical in my sales blueprint plan. That is right in the middle of the crown methodology, is being your originally authentic self. Mm-hmm. Because that's who you are. That's who you attract. That's where you're going to shine. And why on earth swim in a sea of sameness when you can stand out? So, and it's one of the most important things that you can incorporate into your sales strategy is to be who you really are. Yeah. And if somebody doesn't like that, well, then they weren't a good fit for you.
Yeah.
I can't work with everybody. I have a very exclusive program. I only work with a handful of people at a time, right? That is what I do. Well, 2 handfuls, right? But I am not trying to help everyone. I mean, I do what I can in other ways. Yes, absolutely. And I put a lot of DIY sales advice out there. However, when I'm working with my people like you, that community, it's because we've made this, you know, this really great bond. All of my clients become my friends.
Yeah.
You are the same. And it's because that I am my authentic self. I show up as who I am. And I only want to work with people who show up as who they are. I mean, that's why you and I are such a great match. And we are strategically so well aligned. We always show up as who we are.
There's no other way to do it. If I tried to do it any differently, you would say, "What is wrong with you today? Are you feeling okay?" And that's the kind of online family I want to have.
Yeah.
Those are the bonds that I seek to build both with my clients and with the people that I serve. Well, wait, that was both the same thing, wasn't it? Anyway, everybody I ever meet on the internet who is smelling what I'm cooking, I want to develop that relationship because you never know when that relationship can turn around. And I'm your client, then suddenly we flip the tables, and you're mine for a while, and you never know when that referral is going to come in, or when somebody needs help with something, and somebody says, "Hey, I have this just the person for you." You never know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times in marketing and in sales, we're just focused on a tiny part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And the rest of the puzzle sucks.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. If I am not a social media person, so I mean, I help with the overall big strategy, but if you're want somebody who's just going to be really focused on like LinkedIn, well, then you need to hire somebody who's that's their area of expertise. And so, but with all of this that we've been talking about, even in being originally authentic and who you are is so important in your follow-up.
Yeah.
Because once again, you're building that relationship brick by brick, phone call by phone, email, package, text, whatever it happens to be, hot air balloon.
Yeah.
so,
It matters not, my friends.
but when you're doing that, I mean, it's that bond is being strengthened about, why you're the right choice. And so for follow up, I guess I want everyone really here to think about what are some of the common themes that come up in their conversations with the clients, so you can start to think, well, what do I already have? What assets do I already have so that I could deliver value along the way? What are some things that I could do that really showcase who I like? I love Halloween. So for years, I would do these Halloween treat bags that I took to all my clients, and I would either ship them or bring them, type of thing. And everyone in the whole department would get them. And so that was a huge deal to me because I love Halloween. It was just Halloween was just like the big thing for me. But whatever it is, really lean into that and have some fun with it. I mean, you could actually recreate this holiday my daughter created called Felray Elsha in your world, because this was this amazing celebration we had every year called Felray Elsha. And we had this whole theme around it about what it was, but she created it for one of her science fiction sort of worlds. And we actually had this Felray Elsha party every year,
Nice.
for years. I mean, I actually saw the boxes, 2 bins of Felray Elsha decorations in the garage this weekend when I was shifting things around for the holidays.
My God, that's
Anyway,
beautiful.
so the key thing is just be who you are and show up as who you are, and then have that as part of your follow up. I mean, I include cooking stuff because I love to cook.
I love to make coffee. I
Yes,
love
I
to make
know.
my little coffees, and you've given me some ideas on how to maybe spread some of that joy through the holiday. And then also, gosh, a long time ago, I wanted to, we have a teacher in common, Tom Ruich. Look up that dude. He's a trip. Seriously. Anyway, Tom is always talking about, how to get ideas for things to write about. And one of the ideas is, go to this place called, Today in History or something like that. And there are, you can go and reserve a day for yourself and call it anything you want. You just supply, the reasons why and all the different things. And I remember one time I was thinking about doing a good put on your cape day. Because it doesn't have to necessarily be a cape, but it has to be something that represents that person that you want to be, and or feel you are inside, but people just don't see it from the outside. Time to make it visible. Just one day, make it visible, and because we're in this cape to an event, changed my life.
I know.
Changed my life. I am getting a new one on
Oh,
Saturday because this one, the Velcro has torn it up so badly that now every time I shrug, this cape falls off. Um, and so I'm getting one with snaps. And there are 4 of them going to be like doing this.
cool.
Um, so that I can be a Star Trek captain.
Oh, that's perfect. I actually have one of those. I have a Star Trek pin. It was like the one I found it in my daughter. This is so cool that you have this. Anyway,
Yes.
it looks like a piece of jewelry. It was like it's really nice, anyway, metal one. But yeah, I wear a green kimono for my TV show, Get More Clients, and it is actually like threadbare in places because it's like 25 years old.
Yeah.
So, Patagi. So I have got to do something about that. So I'm actually been trying to find one. Every so often I'll look on eBay because I can still find that brand every so often, but I've never found my kimono to repurchase it.
Well, if I may give you an idea.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Printify. Their logo's a little green snap. I do all of my swag through Printify, and there is a kimono on there,
Hmm.
and I believe it may be an all over print as well.
Hmm.
So you could maybe recreate that as best you can. It'll be brand new.
Yeah, I've actually gotten some green silk fabric when I was in India. I just, it's on the list, okay?
Okay,
But
it's on a
yeah,
list. All right.
yeah, it's
All
on the
right.
list. But yeah, but I kept thinking, well, maybe I could just find it because you can find that brand because they went out of business during COVID, but might be able to find one on eBay. I mean, it's amazing some of the things that you can find that are brand new that people have, and it'd just be the same thing, just pre-owned, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. We got way off the topic of follow-up,
What?
but we
Us?
yes, but we are
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about being originally authentic and
That's right.
how important that is, and that's important in follow-up. It's important in your sales. It's just good for your soul.
It's good for your soul. Like, I mean, stop being skin deep. And importantly enough, too, there are times in my life where I feel that part of the reason that somebody has hired me is because indeed they wanted to spend more time with me. And as business people, we often spend the most time with our clients or potential or past clients. And so, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that do what I do. But sometimes people hire me just because of who I am and that they want to hang out. Um, that's why it's so essential when you are yourself in your follow up. You are the exact same person that you presented to be 2 weeks ago when you met them, because they learn to trust that
Yeah,
over time, and they learn to go, you know what? I really do have a need and some money right now. I'm going to go with who I feel like I know.
Yeah.
And if you've been consistent in your follow-up, you can really do that. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, I got a little gift. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting this, but I love it. And I did not order this, but I'm
Oh,
so happy that it came. Gatekeeper Games.
are you going to show us?
Well, yes, we're doing an unboxing right now. Okay, this is totally off topic. Gatekeeper Games and Dice. I'll show their logo. Let's see. Can I? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's a dice tower wearing a cape, darling. Uh, so now you know why I fell in love with their brand completely and totally. And they make these custom dice. Um, I don't know if you know this, Lynn, but I have custom dice all over my desk
Oh,
every
yeah.
day. Every day. And so I did a big order a little while ago because well, I got some people in my life that need some dice, and I got the order a couple of days ago. But today, I'm getting a surprise gift in the mail from them, and we're unboxing it right now.
That's so
Okay.
cool.
No. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think this poor man gave me the same dice twice. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love him so much, but I think I need to send these back because they are exactly the dice that I ordered last time.
Oh,
Okay,
so you got a duplicate order?
I got a duplicate order. I got to send them back. This man is so nice. But these are the little dice towers that he sends them in.
Oh, yeah.
I got the same order twice, babe.
You did?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah, I got to send these back to him.
weird.
Yeah.
Is he
Oh,
local?
no, he's not local.
Oh.
He's not local. Your Christmas present isn't in there, so you can look at these. But
Merry Christmas again, RJ.
yeah, completely. I made a double order that day, and I think that he got a little confused. These dice are so beautiful.
They're really
All
cool.
right, I got to pack them back up. They're not mine. I got to give them back to the guy. But anyway, all of that to say, follow-up's good.
Yes, and you could use dice. That could be a really fun thing you could send dice as what's a roll of the dice? What it's going to be like 3 months from now or 6 months from now. Do you want to roll the dice or do you want to take a step forward?
Oh my God. Don't roll the dice on your future.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just because of that, I need to show you this. Here's another one of the dice that's on my desk. So you can't really see the numbers because I haven't painted them in yet. But this dice is a piece of rubber.
Uh-huh.
And so when you drop it, it bounces.
And it goes any which way. It goes any which way.
It really does. So it's even worse than regular dice.
Yes.
It is bouncy dice. Anyway.
But
Darlings,
that's also like, what are you just going to, the same sort of concept. I mean, it's wherever it's going to go, or do you want to be in control and choose the path?
Oh my gosh, because I'm a whole choose your own adventure, that's my
Yes.
deal. Oh my gosh. Okay. I need to okay, now I know what I need to do. I need to send these out for the new year because don't roll the dice on 2025. Let's choose a path together.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for my marketing strategy and scheduling. I didn't expect that today, but I'll take it.
Well, absolutely. That's the thing. We're just being creative and you're being authentic and who you are. So that's a lot of fun. And I think that, that's going to just, once again, that's that connection. I've also used like tools, for like tools of the trade, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if somebody wants an absolutely awesome idea for follow-up, where would they get a hold of you, Lynn Whitbeck?
Well, for Lynn Whitbeck, you can literally go to my website and schedule a time to talk. If you want to just learn more about follow-up, I've got lots of resources there for you. And that's petite and the digit 2 queen.com. So,
Okay.
and I
Excellent.
would love to talk with you.
Petite to the number 2 queen.com.
Yes.
Go
Yep.
get a hold of Lynn. Listen, y'all. She is not putting on a different face for this conversation. If you love what you've heard and if you love her, why don't you just grab a spot on her calendar? She is the same way with everyone, and just you know exactly who you're getting into business with when you do business with Lynn. So, y'all, I've probably expended too much time. I do realize that this has now been 53 minutes long. We will do this again, Lynn, because you're irresistible. Any final words of wisdom for the people before we sign off?
Yeah, don't roll the dice on 2025. Connect with RJ or I to get your business where you want it to be.
There you go, babies. There you go, my friends. Gentle readers, awesome viewers, it is now time for the sign off, which I don't know. I guess I'll make up one. And that's a cuckoo clock. No, it's really not. That's my sign off. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see